Hey guys, welcome to today's Java tutorial. Today we're going to be doing problem 1, which was from our Saturday tutorial. So let's read the problem. So, write a method in Java that takes one parameter s, a string, and returns true if the given string begins with pix, except the p can be anything. So mix and 9x all count. So we're going to do this using a substring method, and then we'll do it using index of in another video, but not this one. So we'll use substring for this one, just so you can see the different ways that we can do it. So, well, it doesn't say that we have to enter in user data. Okay, so let's start off with our pseudocode. So we're going to need to pass some parameters to our methods. Okay, and then we will need to in our method we're going to need to first find the length of the string, and then we're going to say, well, we need to make sure that the string is bigger than 3 characters long, because otherwise our system will crash. So if it's less than 3, or well, we're going to say if it's less than 3 ends the program, and we'll get to say an error message. Saying that the user has entered too small a string or whatever. Then what we'll do is we'll need to check if ix, so if the second and third characters of the string are ix. So if ix is in the index, remember that the index starts 0, 1, 2, so we're going to go is at index 0 and 2. Then we want it to print true, or well, we want it to return true. Otherwise it will be false. So we can get the user to enter in a string. So let's import our scanner. Import java.util.scanner, and we're going to need to get the user input. Now you could get the user input, or you could just hard code a string in, but it's good to get the user input because it's just a nicer little system. So let's just get our scanner. Oh, it shouldn't be a comment. Scanner my input equals new scanner system.in. Okay. Now we're going to say string, or we need to print out a message to the screen, system.out.println, and we're going to say enter a string, just enter string. So now we need to say what do we do now? Now we say, oh yeah, we have to assign our object. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to just declare another variable, string. We'll just call this input, s input, so whatever they enter is equals to my input dot next line. Okay. Okay, so before we create our pass our parameters to our method, let's just make our method first so you can see what we're going to be doing. So I'm just going to say static, and our boolean, because we want true or false, is mix string, and I'm just going to say string and s. Okay. Close this back out as well. So, what are we going to do here? Well, we get what the user enters from these 3 lines, okay? And then what we need to do is we need to say, okay, well, we need to pass whatever they entered to our method. And then whatever's in our method will give us the answer that we're going to print out back up in our main method. Okay? It's a bit confusing, so let's just put this in. So system.out.println. So instead of just saying printing out something in here, what I can do is I can say, okay, well, before you print something out, call our method is mixstring, and pass the variable or pass a parameter to it, which is sinput. So what does that do? Well, we get the user input up here, and it's assigned to the variable sinput. So we then pass sinput as a parameter to our method is mixstring. So it comes down here, and it will execute whatever code's in here, and then it will return the answer up here, replacing this line here, and it will just print this out to the screen. A little bit confusing, but we'll go through it again at the very end once we have everything done. So the first thing we need to do in our is mixstring method is, well, we need to say, well, our program will crash if there's more than or if there's less than 3 characters entered. So if the user only enters in 2 characters, our system will crash, and we don't want that. So we're just going to put in a little if statement. So if the length of the string that's entered is less than, let's just put in our brackets first, is less than 3, then we wanted to, first of all, we wanted to print out an error message, system.out.println, and in here we'll just say error, string too small, and then what we'll do is we'll say system.exit and pass the parameter at 0. Okay. And then, so now if they enter a string that's less than 3 characters long, print out an error message and exit the system. Perfect. So now what we need to do is we just need to say, okay, well, we need to just check and see if the 2 characters, if the characters at the index 1 and 2, which are these 2, I and x, are equal to I and x, then return true. So how are we going to do that? Well, we know that we're going to have a boolean data type, so let's just declare a boolean data type. So boolean, should that be lower or uppercase? Boolean, boolean. So boolean checker equals false. Let's just set it as false first of all. Okay. Then we'll just give it a condition. So we'll say if so we're going to have to use a substring method, like I said up at the top, using a substring method. So we're going to say if s.substring. So if the substring of the string that's entered between 1 and 3. Okay, so why are we using 3 here? Well, this isn't 1 and this isn't 2 and this isn't 3. This is 0, 1 and 2. If we had a 4th character, let's say mix 8, then it would be 0, 1, 2 and 3. So what we want to do is we want to say, okay, well, we want the one at 1 and 2. So in order for us to use the substring, we say, well, we want everything from 1 up until 3, but not including 3. So we get 1 and 2. Okay? So if I was to say 4 here, it would say, okay, so I want everything up until the 4th character, which we don't have. Yeah? So let's just put another index in. Let's take a 4. So 5. So it would say, well, I want everything from 1, 2, and 3, but not including 4. Okay? So let's just put this back to 3. Okay, and in order for us to do this, we need to say, okay, well, we can't use, or can we? We might be able to get away with using equals quote quote, but we're better off using the method equals, and in here we're just going to pass the string ix. Okay, so yeah, okay. Now our statements in here, we're just going to have a simple return checker equals true. So what does this mean? Okay, well, we've already declared our variable checker as false outside of the if statement. So then if the letters at the index of 1 and 2 equals ix, so if they are ix, then what we want to do is say our checker is now true, and we want to return the checker. Okay, so let's just run through everything we've done again. So we imported our scanner up here. In our main method, we get the user to enter in a string, which is saved to the variable sinput. We then take sinput and pass it as a parameter to our method isMixString. So isMixString is then called, and then it runs all this code here, which finds the length. If the length is less than 3 characters, then it prints out an error and exits the system. Then what it does is it checks and sees if the second, or if the index, if the characters at the index of 1 and 2 is equal to ix, then it returns true, or else it will just stay false, and then it returns. Now here's the very important part, it returns checker. So our variable checker is returned up to our main method and is printed out to the screen. Okay, so let's save, F6 to run. Okay, let's just maximize this for you. So enter a string. Let's see if it works right the first time. So I'm going to say mix a lot. So mix a lot is true. So let's run it again. Enter a string. I'm going to say min number. So it won't work this time. False. Okay, and let's just enter 2 characters this time to see if our error message works. So we're just going to enter in RT error, string too small. Okay, perfect. Well, I hope this tutorial was helpful, guys. And again, if I'm going to do the second one in the few minutes, so hopefully I'll put a link in the description to it anyway of this video, so you'll be able to see problem 2, or problem 1, but I'll be using the index of method instead of substring. So you can just see different approaches that people use. Alright, thanks.